In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you step by step how to create an opt-in in Divi. Opt-ins are very important because this is one way of generating leads. And if you're a freelance designer, you can actually show your clients how these leads are being accumulated, and this can earn you extra money. So let me show you the website or the page that we're going to be creating. So over here, we can see this is the landing page. So it's very simple. This image here pretty much shows the viewer what sort of opt-in it is for. So here you also need to add your title and your description. I've also added these fields here, and this form is also connected with the email opt-in or the email opt-in service. So in this case, I use ConvertKit, but you can use services like MailChimp and so on. As I scroll down here, I also added a section here which shows testimonials. So these would be people that are happy with, what they downloaded for free. So as you can see, this is a nice clean layout. And also, if you take a look at the top here and the bottom, I've also added my header and footer. Now this is from my Genesis template. It's only $7. All you have to do is to click the link in the video description below. Once you buy it, you can use it on as many websites as you want, and it's very, very easy and straightforward to install. So this will install this footer and also this header, which saves you a lot of time when it comes to designing your websites. And again, it's highly customizable, so you can go in, change colors, change links, and all that good stuff. All right, so the other thing we're also going to do here in this tutorial is we're also going to be using Photoshop. So I show you quick tips on how to create this image here in Photoshop. And finally, if you buy Divi using my affiliate link, I will give you access to my Divi Blueprint for course. This course costs about $497, but if you buy Divi and let me know that you've bought Divi using my affiliate link, I will give you access to my course absolutely free. All right, guys, let's dive in and let's get started. All right, so our work today is going to start in Photoshop. So what we need to do is to make a few customizations to this image before we can start using it in Divi. All right, so I've got my layer here selected. So the next thing I need to do is to add a layer mask. So I'm going to click here on Add Layer Mask. Now on the layer mask, we just need to paint it and get rid of all these items here in this image, because this is where our opt-in form is going to be. All right, so here I've got my brush tool selected, as you can see there. So making sure your layer mask is selected, and black here is the foreground color. So I've just pressed the letter X, so that brings black as the foreground color. So I'm just going to make my brush slightly bigger here so I can start painting on it. So you can see now, as I'm clicking, I'm taking away quite a bit of information here, like that. So this is where our text is going to be and our opt-in form. All right, so now that we've done this, I'll just do it one more time. Okay, great. So the next stage now is to duplicate this layer by pressing Command J. Right, so what we need to do now with this layer is disable this one here on the bottom, so we can't see it for now. And then on this layer here on the top, we need to decrease the opacity like that. So you can see the more we do it, it's getting lighter and lighter. So I think we're going to bring it down to about 38%, so we can just barely see this lady here. Because what we need to do here is just to make this landing page show this lady, but without showing a lot of detail, because we don't want our landing page to have conflicting information. So the lady needs to be the background element, and then the form that we're going to add and the information we're going to add on the form is going to be like well and much easier to read. All right, so what we're going to do now is we are going to now export this image. So I'm just going to export this by hitting File, Export. Okay, so here's our image here. Make sure it's saved as a JPEG. And then also the quality here, you just need to bring it down a little bit to about maybe 71. In fact, let's have a round figure. Let's say 70. Okay, cool. Right, so now that we've saved this, we've adjusted this, let's go ahead now and save. So I'm going to save this. Now, to make it easier for me to find it, I'm just going to save it to the desktop. So I'm going to come over here, click on Desktop. What we're going to call this? Okay, let's call this main image. All right, there we go. So I'm going to save it to the desktop. And now we don't need Photoshop anymore. Right, so over here now in Divi, what we're going to do is to create a brand new page, which is going to act as our landing page. So this landing page is going to have a bit of information on why people need to opt in into your mailing list, and then also have the opt-in form. So we're going to spend a bit of time designing that. So let's take a look at it. All right, so let's come over here to Pages, click on Add New. So let's call this landing page. And then we're going to use the Divi builder. We're going to build this from scratch. All right. So you may have noticed that I have my footer here already in there and also my header here on the top. This is because I'm using the Genesis template. If you like to use that as your starting point in your web designs, I will leave that link in the show notes below. The template is only $7 and you can use it on as many websites as you want. So as you can see, this just helps me start designing my websites really, really fast. All right, so now let's start adding all our elements. So the first thing I'm going to do here is to just go to my section background, click on background here, and then add my image. I'm going to click on this plus button to add my image, upload files. And my file, if you recall, is on the desktop. So I'm going to click here on desktop and let's go ahead and double click on it. Great. Now I'm going to click upload an image. And now you can see our image has been added. Now it's time to add all our content onto our page. So I'm going to save this for now. And then over here, I'm going to add my columns. So there's two ways that we can add our information here. Either we can add 2 columns or we can just adjust the sizes of the row. So I want to go with adding 2 columns here. And then in this column, we're going to add our main opt-in. So I'm going to search for my opt-in form. Great. So as you can see here, just by adding that opt-in form, it's really starting to take shape. So the next stage is to just go in here and adjust our text. So what is important here is just to make sure that you let people know why it's important for them to sign up for your mailing list. So it has to be something of value that you're giving all these visitors to your website. So here, I'm not going to go ahead and state why they need to download it. In fact, let me just add a title here. And the title is pretty much going to be find out okay, let me just make up something while I'm typing this. Okay. Okay, find out the main foods that I eat to stay active. I've just made it up, but of course you want to make this headline your own and you need to come up with your own text. All right, so that's going to be the text I'm going to use here. Now over here on the description, I'm going to say this is a free download. All right, this is a free download. Sign up below to get the video. All right, so now that we've added this information, it's time now to customize it and make it really look nice. So let's scroll all the way down here. And here on the fields, it's also very important that you should not take a lot of information here. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to disable my first name field and my last name field. So all we need is just the name and email. I'm sorry, all we need is just the email. All right, so now that we have this all set, the next stage is come over here to the background. So this is where you can play around with some colors and see what sort of colors work with your branding, depending on what opt-in form you're trying to build. So here we can either have it this way, or we can choose to completely remove the background and then have this text nice and bright so we can read it. So let's see what works better. So as you can see here, I'm experimenting to see what really works with my design here. All right, so now I am over here working on my header. So I'm just going to give this a title like that. So I think that color works. Let's have a look here. Right, so let's go with this color here. Now we need to work on the description. So again, I'm going to go with a light color here for the description. So that's easy enough to read. So I think that really works. The next stage now is to just work on my font. So I like using pop-ins. I'm going to go ahead and use that for my title. And then over here for my description, I'm going to do the same as well. And now let's work on this area here where we can start working with our fields. So over here, I think the best thing to work with this is to let's give this a color, and then we can start playing around with the design. So right now, as you can see, I'm building this in real time, making decisions on what works better. So as I'm making these decisions here, you can actually see that the main thing I'm worried about here is the contrast. So I want things to be easy to read as I'm building this website. All right. So here I can tweak this color here, maybe add a bit of transparency like that. A little bit more. Okay, now let me work on the button here. So in order for you to go in and start customizing the button, the main thing you need to do is to go into use custom styles for button. This allows you to go in and make the changes to the button. All right, so over here now, I'm just going to activate the button. So the size here, I'm going to leave it as it is, but the button, I mean the text color is going to be, let's go with this color right here, and then I'm going to add a background color. So I'm going to go with this color here. It really stands out, and I really like the way this color actually looks. So I'm going to go ahead and use this color. Now there's a few things also I need to do here. So the first one is to make sure my border width is the same color like that. Then let's have a look. So the radius, I think the radius is fine with those rounded corners. It's not too bad. So I'm going to leave that as it is. And then let's continue here. So the default font, I'm going to change this to Optins. And I think it looks nice the way it does, because if we try to make it bold, I don't think this will, really look nice. So I'm going to leave that as it is. And then over here on the button, I'm just going to add this button here. And you can see that on hover like that. Okay, great. So I want to save this for now. And then I'm going to add another section. So this section here is pretty much more information that is going to let our visitors to this landing page incentivize them to want to sign up for this. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some testimonials on there, just to show that there are some people that downloaded this and have less testimonials. Now, in your case, let's say you have a product that you're trying to promote, or you have a newsletter that you want people to sign up for. What you need to do is to ask the existing members on your mailing list to give you some testimonials. You don't want to be making fake testimonials. That doesn't really work well. All right. So let's go ahead and fix this. So I'm going to click here on this plus button, click on regular. So we're going to go in and put 4 testimonials. So I'm going to start here with this area where we're going to have the headline. So I'm just going to add my text module here. And then, in fact, let's give this a title. Let's call this testimonials. All right. So over here on the design text, let's center this. And then let's make the text slightly bigger. Add some letter spacing. I think we'll go with 12. Okay, so that looks fine for now. Next, I'm going to add another row, and this time it's going to have 4 columns. And here we're going to use, let's look for our testimonial module. I'm going to select it. Now, as you can see, this needs a bit of work. So I want to go in and customize this really, really fast. So first of all, the text that we have here is a bit too much. So I'm just going to get rid of some of it here. On the image, let's go ahead and add our image. So as you can see, I don't really have a lot of images here. So I'm going to go ahead and use this one here. Okay, so that's going to be our image. Now, as I'm looking at this, the background doesn't really look nice. So let me go ahead and remove that background. Great. So the background is gone. All we have now is just the text and the image. So I'm going to go in now and customize this text. Let's change this to Optins. Okay, that's looking great. Now over here on the name, this can be updated by coming over here to the content tab and clicking on, let's go to our image first. Let's make sure this is fine. Okay, this is looking okay. Right, on the text here is where we add our name. So this can be a Jane Doe. There we go. Now this looks much better if it's centered. So I'm going to go ahead and center this. So I'm going to come over here to my design, text, align center. And you see this icon here. I don't really like that. So I want to get rid of it. So I'm going to come over here to elements and then remove the quote icon. So all I have now is the image, the description here of the testimonial, and the name. So pretty much it's as simple as that. We don't need to do much more here with the design. All right, so let me save this and take a look at it. Okay, so that's looking fine. So now that I've designed the first one, what we can actually do now is to just duplicate it and add it onto the other columns. So over here, I'm just going to duplicate this 3 times, drag this over here. So, one thing I also need to mention here is you can have as many testimonials that you need. It looks like I've added one by mistake here. So I'm just going to come over here to my column structure and just change it back to 4. All right, so these are our testimonials. So now you can go in and change the names. So let's call this one here Susan. Okay, save that. And then, of course, I forgot to change the image. So you want to go in, scroll down to the image, and then change the image. So let's see who we can add here. So let's add this one here. Save that. Now this time, this guy, let's say his name is Jack Doe. There we go. Come over here to image. Let's change the image and let's add an image of this guy here. Great. So we have 3 images here, and I'll just leave this one here because pretty much you can see what needs to be done here when it comes to adding these testimonials. All right, so I've saved that. And over here, I might just need to make a few tweaks. I'm going to go back in here, click on design, and on the text here, I just want to reduce the size a little bit. Okay, there we go. Testimonials. All that is set. So now let's go back over here and just make further tweaks and just make sure that this looks nice. All right, so I'm going to click here on my section settings. And then on the design, I'm going to come over here to spacing. So we do need to add some padding here. So I'm just going to add a bit of padding so we can actually see more of our image here. I'm going to click on this icon, this chain icon. This chain icon, what it does is it just adds the same value over here on the bottom. And when you increase the size, both sizes increase. So I really like that feature. All right, so now that we have this, we are not done yet because we still need to go in and connect this to our email autoresponder. So I'm going to show you that in the next stage. But pretty much, I'm just going to look at this one more time and just make sure that I really like what I'm looking at here. So I think this looks great. Now, I just need to go in and take a look at the mobile views. Okay, so over here, I think that looks okay. But I may need to go in here, make a few adjustments. So I'm going to give this some margin. Let's take a look at the mobile view. The mobile view looks perfect. And if I take a look here at the bottom as well, this looks really, really nice. All right, great. So now that we've taken care of our mobile views, we may need to, again, go in here, increase this text size, make it nice and big. So I'm going to target it by clicking this brush tool. Now let's change this to, let's say, bold, nice and bold. Let's make this nice and big. There we go. Let's go with 38. So again, I'm going to make sure it looks great on the tablet. So as you can see here, the tablet's view doesn't look great. I'm just going to reduce this a little bit. Okay, and then on the phone, it looks fine. Great. All right, so I'm going to save this. Now it's time to connect our form to our email autoresponder. Now this is the crucial point because if you don't connect this to your email autoresponder, basically this page is not going to work and you're going to get a lot of really, really frustrated subscribers or people that are trying to subscribe. All right, so here's what we're going to do now. I already have an account with ConvertKit. So there are a lot of email autoresponders out there. And to be honest, trying to find which one is better, it's a headache. So over the years, I've been using quite a few. I've actually used MailChimp, but I find ConvertKit much, much better. I really like the way it works and it has, all the features that I really like. So links to that as well in the show notes below. All right, so let's take a look at this and let's see how we can connect our form. So I'm going to come over here now to module settings. And then we want to come over here to email account. So this is where we're going to add our information. So if I click here on MailChimp, it shows me more over here. So you can see there's quite a lot to choose from. So I'm going to go with ConvertKit because that's the one I have. In fact, if I switch over here, you can see I also been building my email list, and I have close to 4,700, in fact, 4,800 people signed up onto my mailing list. So this is what I'm showing you in this video. I'm actually practicing it. So I've been building my email list for quite a while now. And as you can see, this is real time. This is January 14th. And these are the subscribers that I have. And it's growing slowly, slowly. All right. So over here, if you decide to use ConvertKit, to get your information that you need to add over here, it's quite straightforward. You just go over here to the top, click on this drop down, and then you want to click on your profile. So over here on the profile, you click on account info. So you need the API key and the API secret. So these are the two types of information that you're going to need to add over here. So then after you've done that, you just select your list over here, click on add, and pretty much, you've added your information. But as you can see here, I haven't added my information. That's why it is not showing. So I'm not going to go ahead and add it over here because pretty much, I don't want my keys to be seen there by the public. All right, so I'm just going to save this. And now let's take a look at this page. So I'm going to hit publish. And then I am going to exit the Visual Builder. Right, so pretty much this is what we have so far. Very nice, clean, very simple. So as I'm scrolling down here, I can also see that this section here needs a bit of breathing space. So let's go ahead and fix that. So I'm going to go back in here, enable Visual Builder. So all I'm going to do here is to just mouse over this area here, start dragging, click on the chain icon. So as I'm dragging here, you can see that my values are being added to both sides. So the other thing that you can also do here is to increase this so that you can see more of this information right here. So now that I've done this, I'm going to save. And then I'm going to exit the Visual Builder. And then I'm going to log out. Now, the reason why I'm logging out is because here on the top, it looks like our header here is cut off. So I really want to show you what this looks like. So I'm going to log out. So there you go. This is our landing page. So as you can see, it's nice. It's really clean. It looks really, really simple. If I scroll down here, these are the testimonials. Now, you may also want to go in and add other fields or other types of information. So you may want to state the reasons why people would want to download this and also what's included in the actual download. So you can actually go into more detail with that, but this is simple enough. If your call to action here in the description of what this is about is good, then this will convert really well. So what are the opportunities for you as a designer? So if you approach some companies and design landing pages for them, this is how quickly you can put these together and obviously track all the conversions. So this is how you create this. I may add this to the downloads. So just check in the comments box below and download it so that you can use it on your own designs. All right, so that's all I have for you today. And one more thing, if I scroll up here, you notice that my header here shrinks. And then if I scroll down, it expands. And as I've told you before, this here on the bottom is my footer from the Genesis template. This template is only $7. So if you want to use this, I will leave the link to that in the show notes below. All right, so this is how you create a landing page with Divi. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and also don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you have any questions, leave the questions in the comments box below. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video.